What's up, Nittany Nation? My name's Steven, and welcome to We Are PSU Sports Talk. This is a new channel. I hope that you guys, if you're here watching, I hope that you follow, subscribe, like, share, do all of that, please. It does help me. But this is a channel that I'm looking to start and focus on Penn State athletics. The big focus of it's going to be Penn State football. I am a huge follower of Penn State football. While I don't live in Pennsylvania, I live in Florida. I follow everything. I've driven up to multiple games over the past year. Huge fan. Thank you to Landon Tangwell. Love your YouTube channel, love your Twitter account. That's where I get all my sports news from. That's where I've kind of decided that I want to try this route from watching all of his, whether it's pre-game, his film breakdown, his post-game. I love all of it. So this is kind of a spin-off of trying to do my own version of a channel that I want to create for Penn State athletics. While I'll be covering mainly the football program, I'm a big Penn State guy. I follow every sports program that they have. Obviously, everybody knows the history with our wrestling team. And then something a little bit more close to home for me is going to be the cross-country and track teams. I don't think those are something that ever really get a lot of media coverage or even just small channel coverage. So I would like to focus on those throughout the year as well. I actually have a background in running. I was a D2 college athlete down in Florida at St. Leo. Ran there for 4 years, was a captain for a couple years for cross country and track. Once I graduated, I was a high school coach for 2 years, and then actually went back to St. Leo and became an assistant coach for, I believe, 3 years. So I love running. That will be covered a little bit. I know most channels won't do that, and it may deter people from following this channel, and that is completely okay. If you want to just tune in for the football or just tune in the basketball, the wrestling, the baseball, the soccer, that's cool. Do your own thing. But hey, when you're here, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to kind of give you guys a background on what I intend to do with this channel. So right now, football season, if you followed Penn State, you know has been up and down. It's been a roller coaster. We had a year where we thought we were going to come out and win the national title. I'm not even going to say be a national contender. We thought we were coming to win. We thought we had the best roster. We brought back one of the best rosters from last year. We were there against Notre Dame. A late pick kind of cost us there. We thought we were going to come back, be even better. Unfortunately, things didn't fall our way this year. I think the coaching change, and just my personal opinion, was needed. Being a coach, I know that's a hard position to be in, and I understand James Franklin's kind of animosity towards the fan base, because I think he thinks that the fans got him fired. But at the same time, when you have a roster that was as good as that roster was supposed to be, and all of the news we heard going into the season, to see us play poorly in those first couple games against a cupcake schedule, it didn't resonate well with me. I think it was the right move to get rid of Franklin. I do think Matt Campbell was a home run hire. I'm very excited to see where we go with the program. We've seen over the last, 3 days, a bunch of commits. We started with 2 in our class on National Signing Day. I believe we're up to 6. There was one today, but I've noticed that the organization or the group that originally broke the news deleted that tweet, so I don't know if anything changed there. But I believe we're about 6 or 7 commits in our current class for next year, which has now dropped us down into the 120 range in terms of our recruiting class. Obviously, we're going to need to do a lot of work there to be competitive. We do have a pretty favorable schedule next year, so we'll see what happens. But I'm really excited for where the program is trending at this rate. We're keeping a lot of good coaches that I think we should have kept, so that's important to me. And then we're also bringing in coaches that I think are going to be a game changer at Penn State University. If we look just at the wide receiver coach, Coach Noah that is coming in is an incredible coach. He takes 3-star guys, 2-star guys, and he makes them a perfect fit for the system that the offense is running. Back in 2024, he had 2 wide receivers go for over 1,100 yards. He was the wide receiver coach of the year. We're already seeing a couple of wide receivers that are now getting offered from Penn State, which I'm pretty excited to see again, what happens with the development of the wide receivers, even that we have there. Obviously, we know we have a couple of talented freshmen. We're hoping we retain them. We haven't really had much word from the team or any of the reporters on which guys are going into the portal. I believe as of right now, we've only have 3 or 4 guys going into the portal, and we have a lot of guys graduating. That's completely fine. But we do want to retain some of that talent that we have in that wide receiver room. I know the wide receivers haven't looked good over the past couple of years, but I do think there was some coaching issues in terms of playing time, and I do think the NIL situation in terms of money led to some of that. We saw at the end of last year when Coach Smith jumped out there and said that we need to start playing the good talent. I mean, we saw people emerge. Howard is going to be a superstar. If that guy is on the field, he creates opportunity not only for himself, but you also have to think about the other wide receivers, because now the defense is going to scheme that they're going to need 2 guys covering him. So I'm pretty excited for the direction of Penn State football. I'm really excited about the wide receiver coaching hire. I think that is a phenomenal hire. I'm glad to kind of clear house. They're not keeping too many coaches from last year's staff, and I think it's needed. I think the team lost the fire that we once had. I think it was almost told to them that this was going to be a walk in the park, and it's not. As a former coach myself, while it wasn't at the D1 level, it was at the D2 level. You can't take anything for granted. Like, you have to go out there, you have to put in the work, and you have to be great. Every play counts. Every game counts. You can't go out there and expect to just win every game because we are the more talented team. That's not how it works. And that's one of the great things with sports for me. That's why I like sports in general, and I'm not just a football fanatic. I love cross country. I know that's boring to a lot of people. I love track and field. Last year, Penn State track and field had an amazing year. We had a couple young stars. We had a couple freshman stars. We had the guy in the 100. We had the guy in the 400. Obviously, our 800 team is always deep. Our 1500 team is great. Our women's team's phenomenal. It's going to be a big year for Penn State athletics to regroup. Last year was an amazing year. We had so many teams make it to the Final Four. We had national champions. Backcraft, I thought, was doing a great job at getting our program to be better, to taking that next step. I remember a couple of years ago, Coach Franklin said we were great, but we weren't elite. Our athletic program was getting to the extent of being elite. I think this year, all athletics has taken a slight step back. We even see our wrestling team right now in Flow Track wrestling rankings is 3rd. Well, granted, some of our guys are not ranked and haven't wrestled this year. That's crazy. All of our programs that were doing well last year have kind of taken a little bit of a step back. So with this channel, I'd like to kind of focus on all athletics. And in doing so, maybe we can have more of a discussion about Pat Kraft and how things are trending upwards, things are trending downwards, but how does he recover? I think Pat Kraft is an amazing AD. I know he took a lot of heat for the coaching search, which, again, it's hard for all of us to comment on that because we haven't been in his shoes specifically, and with all of the different job openings that were out there, I think it's hard and it's difficult. So I don't think we did him any justice by criticizing what was going on behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, I do think Coach Matt Campbell is a home run hire. I think next year's schedule, again, is going to be a good schedule for us to do well. I don't think the pieces aren't in place right now to make a magical run. But again, we have all of spring. Any of those guys who committed to a school and go to early signing, they could hit the transfer portal and then transfer. So I'm not on the panic bus yet. I'd like to see how the spring semester goes. I'd like to see how summer goes. I'd like to see who's healthy, things of that nature, and just kind of hear how the team's doing. I'm not going to buy into, I think, this summer, a lot of the hype. I know people hyped up everything last year. Chaz on the defense. We heard so much about nobody could stop Chaz in practice. Well, I think we realized a couple games into the season that the reason we couldn't stop Chaz was because we had a significant step back from our O-line. So I don't want to buy too much into the spring hype. I don't want to buy too much into the summer hype, but I want to buy into what I see on game day. And I'm hoping with this channel I can become more engulfed into Penn State athletics. and hopefully be at some more of the games. I do currently live in Florida. The plan is to stay here a little bit longer. I do want to try to get closer to Pennsylvania. I don't necessarily want to live in Pennsylvania because I think what I'm looking for in terms of a steady job and things of that nature, it's not going to be in Pennsylvania. If I can get a little bit more north than where I'm currently at down here in Tampa, that would be phenomenal for me. But yeah, so I hope you guys can check out every social media platform. You will find We Are PSU Talk on there. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share. That goes a long way for me. We are going to do roster breakdowns. We're going to be predictions for some of the other athletic programs, obviously, because our football team is over. We'll hopefully put out a video next week going into our bowl game. I know Clemson, as of today, had 27 opt-outs, so that game, it's going to be hard to predict. I think we haven't seen all of our guys who are going to opt out as of yet, but I do think there's going to be a lot coming over the next couple weeks. There's going to be a lot of breaking news in terms of people hitting the portal over the next couple weeks. Our basketball program looked decent the other night against Michigan State. Maybe they can get things rolling. They're an extremely young team. And then obviously we got to talk about our wrestling team. They have some big duels coming up. They have the streak is still on, one of the longest streaks. So I'm excited to see where this channel is going to go. I'm excited to see the connections this channel is going to create. And then I'm excited to see the next generation of Penn State fans created from this channel. I started out as a Penn State fan because of my father. He graduated from Penn State. When I was younger, my grandma they lived in Pennsylvania. We moved to Florida when I was one. She used to cut out all of the articles of the Penn State football team that was in the local paper, and she would save them up, and then she would ship them to Florida so my dad and I could read them. That's kind of where my fandom started, and then it just kind of grew from there. I still recall as a child in the early 2000s, we didn't get the Penn State games on TV. They weren't necessarily the greatest team at the time. I would have to watch them on the Gamecast on ESPN. And that was back when Gamecast was completely different. It isn't as advanced as it is today, where you just have to watch the yellow line crawl down the field. I'm a huge Penn State fan. I'm hoping this channel will create other Penn State fans. Yeah, so if you guys don't mind, again, like, subscribe, share, comment. It goes a long way. Tell me what things you guys want to talk about or you want to see me investigate. And I'd be glad to make a video on it. I want to remind you guys, just from the gun, I'm not a reporter for Penn State. I'm not an insider for Penn State. I am a Penn State fan who just enjoys Penn State athletics, enjoys Penn State success. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to turn those notifications on, and make sure to leave a comment so that we can interact. I have no problem interacting with you guys. Thank you again. We are Penn State.